Tonight on the Northwestern News Report, an update on the campus workers' protest at the Arch last week.
And will Evanston trash the grocery tax? How this change affects the city's revenue.
Plus, Dillo Day is coming up. Learn more about this year's headliner and how construction will impact the festival.
Those stories and more tonight on the Northwestern News Report.
It's your news
right now. Good evening and welcome to the Northwestern News Report. I'm Jeremy Fredericks.
And I'm Maria Heim. 9 months in, food, service, and hospitality workers still haven't resolved their contract dispute with their employer, Compass, bargaining for over 24 hours straight last week. In a continuation of the fight, workers picketed at the Arch last Friday. NNN's Alicia Tang has the story.
Who's gonna win? Look, no one.
Campus service workers from Kresge to Norris took to Sheridan protesting what they alleged to be unfair bargaining practices.
It's a continuation of the fight for a fair contract that workers have been in since August of 2024.
Just 2 weeks ago, Unite Here Local 1, the group representing campus service workers, filed a federal complaint against Northwestern's food service supplier, Compass. In the complaint, the union accused Compass of unjust retaliation, like refusing to bargain and threats against dining hall workers who striked in March.
The strike was paused earlier in March after 12 days. The strike could resume at any time.
No strike this time, but these workers are reiterating their cries for higher pay and better pensions. And despite concerns of retaliation, they're making their voices heard. A Compass spokesperson tells NNN that they remain eager to reach an agreement and hope to deliver meaningful wage increases. Back at the Arch, several Evanston City Council members and Mayor Daniel Biss rallied behind the workers.
It's hard to stand up. Sometimes they can feel targeted. They can feel like there's not enough support. They can feel vulnerable. And so those of us who are blessed to be in positions of some influence, I think, have the opportunity to stand with them. When we fight, we win. We are going to win.
Alicia Tang, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Alicia. We'll keep following this story as it develops.
A controversial pick to fill an open spot on one of Evanston's most influential committees was approved last night. City Council approved Pastor Luke Harris-Faree to the Land Use Commission. NNN's Logan Schijano has more on how the appointment created division between community and council members.
With 4 voting in favor and 4 voting against, there's a tie. I break the tie by voting aye.
Mayor Daniel Biss breaking the tie at Monday's City Council meeting, appointing Luke Harris-Faree to serve on the Land Use Commission. The pastor of Grace Lutheran Church in South Evanston says as a renter, they'll bring a unique perspective to the influential body.
To add that voice that seems to be missing, and people seem to have a misunderstanding of what it's like to be a renter in Evanston, and how zoning plays a part of that is a big deal.
Harris-Faree's appointment ends a weeks-long process to fill a seat vacated by George Halleck. It started with Biss's controversial decision to not reappoint Halleck. Instead, he nominated Kat Vielma, but she withdrew her name last month after strong community backlash of her social media. Many of those same residents opposed the nomination of Harris-Faree, citing a lack of experience.
We must appoint commissioners based on qualifications, not connections.
Harris-Faree tells me they support Envision Evanston 2045, the city's project for a new comprehensive plan and zoning code. It's a project Biss has championed, leading some to accuse him of appointing Harris-Faree to advance his political agenda.
Welcome to the Trump administration, Evanston edition. Nominate ideological alignment rather than knowledge. Nominate loyalty rather than expertise.
But some council members defended the mayor's decision.
There certainly is a role, and an important one, for expertise and experience. But in this case, what we need is common ground, dialogue, and a values-based discussion.
And Harris-Faree says the community can trust them to approach the Land Use Commission's work with an open mind.
I really have been keeping up with this process, and so I feel like I'm ready to join in the conversation where it's at now.
They, along with other land use commissioners, will review the next draft of Envision Evanston 2045 at a special meeting later this month. In Evanston, Logan Schijano, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Logan. The next Land Use Commission meeting is slated for May 21st.
Some of Evanston's brand new committees begin their work this week, including one faced with $1 million decision that could impact shopping across the city. NNN's Allison Miller checked out the potential change at the checkout line.
Evanston's newly appointed Finance and Budget Committee met for the first time just a few hours ago, and it's already facing a big problem. The city is spending more than it's earning.
We would have to cut entire departments or cut entire programs if we're going to make up for this structural deficit.
And Evanston might lose even more revenue. Last year, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker signed a law eliminating the 1% statewide sales tax on groceries,
which helps every Illinoisan deal with the effects of higher prices in the checkout line.
In Evanston, groceries account for about $2.5 million in annual tax revenue. The state tax will expire by the end of this year, so the city council must decide whether to keep taxing groceries as a local home rule tax or to find that money elsewhere.
To ask struggling families to pay even a little bit more for food that they're already having a hard time putting on their tables is not something that anybody would be super excited about. On the other hand, we need to make up our revenue somewhere.
With Evanston grocery prices already on the high end,
we will sometimes go to other towns very close by to go shopping for certain things.
Some say getting rid of the grocery tax might even benefit the city.
If it's cheaper, I might come to shop more.
And its residents.
People who are at the lower economic level, I think it would be more impactful on them.
Despite the deficit, some Evanstonians are skeptical that the city even needs the grocery tax revenue.
It appears that we're raising enough money. It's just being mismanaged.
Evanston has until the fall to make its grocery tax decision. Councilmember Newsoma predicts the council won't be eager to bite.
I suspect there won't be an appetite on the council to continue taxing groceries at the local level.
In Evanston, Allison Miller, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Allison. NNN will update you on any future developments.
Coming up, the Unity Fashion Show last Thursday brought both professional and student fashion designs to life.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Ready, set, go!
The nation's largest student-run music festival, Dillo Day, is returning this Saturday with a headlining performance from Natasha Bedingfield. The British singer-songwriter is best known for her hits Unwritten and Pocketful of Sunshine, which both peaked at number 5 at the Billboard Top 100 chart. Bedingfield marks Northwestern's first female headliner. Her performance will follow previous Dillo Day headliners such as Sway Lee, Offset, Dominic Fike, and Playboi Carti. Students have expressed mixed feelings about the announcement on social media platforms.
And throughout the school year, construction has taken over a few key areas of Northwestern's campus. On Saturday, it will affect a classic Northwestern tradition, Dillo Day. NNN's Sammy Crimstein has the story.
Believe it or not, Dillo Day is coming up just this Saturday, May 17th, and Northwestern students are gearing up.
I think it's like one of the most, at least like hyped up days of the year, I think for sure.
But this year, the classic Northwestern tradition is coming with a few minor changes, thanks to several construction projects going on around campus. For Mayfest Productions, the student organization behind Dillo Day, the construction has been a logistical challenge.
Construction has definitely been an obstacle. It's like taking away a lot of the paths that we normally have for Dillo. I know that we usually walk along Kellogg and we enter through Norris.
For concert goers, narrower walkways because of the construction may be a cause for worry.
I'm a little bit nervous about exiting and entering, especially as it gets later in the day. It's usually really crowded, and after the nighttime headliner, it's always kind of crazy getting out.
Last year, the Dillo Day entrance was right behind me next to the Norris University Center. Obviously, with construction going on the Norris's East Lawn, that won't be possible. So instead, the entrance will be right here at the Art Circle next to the Beanan School of Music and the Wirt Center for the Performing Arts. Behind me here is the site of Dillo Day's main stage. That is not changing, but there will be some slight adjustments. The stage has typically been to the back of the Kellogg School of Management, facing Lake Michigan. This year, going to be slightly different, to the back of the all-new Lakeside Field for Northwestern's football team, facing the city of Chicago. While the Dillo Day layout has been moved around a bit, the fun in Dillo Day isn't going anywhere.
Most of like what makes Dillo is going to be exactly the same.
For Northwestern News Network, I'm Sammy Crimstein.
Dillo Day will begin at 11:30 a.m. on Saturday. Students who registered for a ticket can still pick up their wristbands Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday at Seabury Hall.
And Unity Charity Fashion Show hosted their annual runway at the Artifact Events venue in Chicago last Thursday, bringing both professional and student fashion designs to life. NNN's Katarzyna Nguyen has more.
Following the theme of myth, Unity Charity Fashion Show featured pieces from professional and student designers of all skill levels. The show included visual and performing arts through fashion and a dance performance from Reflections Repertory Company. One of Unity's executive directors, Kate Matthews, has been involved with Unity since her freshman year. She says she enjoyed seeing how designers interpreted this year's theme.
There's a lot of sort of cultural touchstones or people's own sort of family or histories or backgrounds that you could sort of look to for inspiration, but there's also a broader universe than that.
This year, ticket profits go to Snow City Arts, a local organization providing professional arts education to students who are currently hospitalized.
Students who work with us can get school credit for the art that they make with us to ensure that they don't fall behind.
For Tiger Lee, the Unity show was their first time modeling. In the months leading up, Unity provided weekly classes on walking and posing to help them feel confident on show day.
I was really excited about just letting everything go and how that would accentuate my looks.
Executive Director Annika Wilsnack has been part of Unity for 3 years. She says Unity allows her to pursue a creative outlet outside the classroom.
There's so much that you learn through trial and error and through working with our community to make everything happen.
In Chicago, Katarzyna Nguyen, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks for your reporting, Katarzyna. To see a full list of designers, check out the Unity Instagram page at Unity Fashion Show.
The results of the Northwestern Marriage Pack were released earlier this month. Our Max Rothfeder is here in studio to break down the results for us. Max?
That's right, Jeremy. We just got the results in, so we're going to break down all the key insights from this year's Marriage Pact. The first question they put together this year: would students prefer to cheat or fail an exam? Well, when it comes to who would rather cheat, unfortunately, that's the industrial engineers and the economics majors. Those happen to be my two majors, although I promise I do not cheat. But who would rather fail an exam than cheat? Well, that's the journalism majors. Maybe that's just because they don't take nearly as many exams as us industrial engineers. Now, when it comes to relationships and politics, liberals say that they would avoid dating conservatives and Republicans over 40% of the time. But what's interesting, they avoid apolitical people 19% of the time. Now, who do conservatives avoid dating? Well, that's the socialists, liberals, and Democrats. But interestingly, they only avoid apolitical just 4% of the time. Now, when we look at the political spectrum as a whole, the Marriage Pact released this data looking at the amount of liberals versus the amount of conservatives and taking the difference, the absolute difference between the two. And what we can see is across the board, women are more liberal than men, relatively speaking. But what's also interesting is that the upper levels, so the juniors and the seniors, happen to be more liberal than the freshmen and the sophomores. Now, moving on to students on the political spectrum, whether or not they think it's unethical to be apolitical. Looking at this on a gender basis, men disagree. They say that it's okay to be apolitical, whereas women feel that that is not ethical, that being involved in the political process is important. And the last thing here, the Marriage Pact Classic, are students in relationships. Now, when it comes to Taken, that wins by the juniors and the seniors. Now, this might be a little underestimated because some people in relationships may not participate in the Marriage Pact. The Classic, we've seen this every single year. Freshmen dominate the It's Complicated category, coming in with 26% of the total amount. And then when it comes to who's single, well, it seems like it goes from It's Complicated to being single in sophomore year, as the sophomores take that with 74.3%. Well, that's it for our Marriage Pact Big Board breakdown. Back to y'all at the desk.
All right. Thank you, Max.
And a local Evanston restaurant is celebrating its 23rd year. NNN's Callie Proctor stopped by Prairie Moon's anniversary event last week, where many came together to commemorate this milestone.
Prairie Moon has long been a prominent feature in Evanston. Sitting on Chicago Avenue, the restaurant often hosts events featuring local musicians, including jam sessions, weekly jazz nights, and other opportunities for diners to enjoy live music, making it a favorite spot for many in town.
Let's understand that arts is the heart of Chicago and Evanston and Northwestern, and that's where we get to express ourselves and we get to see other people express themselves, and it's just so important and vital to the well-being of a community.
At Prairie Moon's 23rd anniversary celebration, the venue had live music from local Chicago band Expo 76, a special menu of the restaurant's greatest hits from the past 23 years, and featured opening remarks from Evanston First Ward Council member Claire Kelly. As Evanston residents and other guests enjoyed the special food, drinks, and music, Prairie Moon owner Robert Strom reflected on his efforts to make the restaurant a space where everyone can feel welcome.
We've always considered ourselves not just a restaurant, but a real community venue. We try to get involved in as much as we possibly can. Supporting local charities and schools and churches, and so we really are a local gathering.
In Evanston, Callie Proctor, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Callie. For more information about upcoming events, you can visit prairieruinrestaurant.com.
Up next, Evanstonians showed out for a wonderful cause. We'll be right back.
Trying to work my way out of the prison system was the most difficult challenge of my life. It only became tangible once I became a Northwestern student.
One, two, three, four.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Welcome back. May is a big month here at Northwestern. We have a lot of exciting events coming up this week. We have Wildcat Day at Wrigley Field tomorrow. We've got Dillo Day coming up. Are you excited?
I'm excited, and Emmanuel Perez Martinez is here with a look at our weather.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. We first have to talk about the fog that just rolled in. We have to talk about the severe weather threat on Thursday. And of course, we have Dillo Day on the way. So starting off, we do have that fog alert that just came in. It is currently 58 degrees. Our temperatures will be in the 50s for the rest of the evening. Locally, our temperatures are varying depending if you're near that lakefront. It is 58 degrees in Evanston, 69 at Skokie, 75 in O'Hare Airport, 64 in downtown Chicago, and 72 at Midway Airport. Onto our 5-day forecast. Starting off on Wednesday, it'll be partly cloudy with temperatures sitting at 64 degrees. Now, Thursday is a busy weather day as we do have a severe weather threat, starting off with our temperatures at 79 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Now, we are keeping an eye out on those late evening storms. The Storm Prediction Center has the entire region on a 2 out of 5 risk. There's a lot of uncertainty still about the timing and severity, but if and when these storms develop, expect them to be severe. We can expect destructive hail, damaging winds, and a tornado threat. We will keep you posted as Thursday approaches. Now, continuing into our forecast Friday. It'll be 80 degrees, sunny skies, looking at our wind gusts of 30 miles per hour. Now, we have an increased fire risk because of that. Then Saturday, Dillo Day, 69 degrees, partly cloudy skies. It'll be windy, making the temperatures near that lake feeling like 50 degrees. Then on Sunday, sunny skies with 59 degrees. Please stay weather aware and keep an eye out on the Dillo forecast coming out on Thursday.
All right, thank you, Emmanuel. We'll keep our eye out for further weather updates.
Northwestern students can expect a fall quarter full of fresh and unique learning experiences. Alex Zong is here to tell us what's on the schedule.
Thanks, Maria. Northwestern students are in for a dynamic fall quarter with plenty of new and innovative classes on the schedule. We start with a course that swaps textbooks for treasure maps. Pirates, Guns, and Empires take students from the Atlantic to the Indian Ocean, exploring piracy, mutiny, and maritime laws. Meanwhile, topics in Asian science and technology take students all the way back to the Asian skies, providing hands-on experience with models of early astronomical instruments. Some classes turn the city of Chicago into a living classroom. In Block Party Tonight, Arts Impromptu Publics, students travel to Chicago's neighborhoods, major museums, and talk to local artists to explore how public art shapes civic life. While Ancient Rome in Chicago takes a virtual approach, using digital tools to map the city's architecture and monuments, uncovering how Ancient Rome still echoes through Chicago's streets. Finally, we have Medill's offering students with real-world reporting experience. In Prison Cast, WBEZ veteran Natalie Moore leads students in creating audio stories for people inside Sheridan Correctional Center.
Prisons are depressing places, and students are going to see that up close and personal. And I'm hoping that this will also help students be empathetic in their reporting.
Pre-registration is underway with regular registration coming up next week. Back to you.
Thanks, Alex.
Child Care Network of Evanston hosted its 4th annual 0 to 5K Saturday, fundraising to support their programming. NNN's Lenna Peterson has more on the soulful story.
Evanstonians racing for a cause, a 5K dedicated to raising money for childcare access in Evanston.
Our mission is to connect all of our young learners in town with equitable, high-quality early childhood experiences that foster a sense of belonging.
CNE providing full-day care, home visiting programs, and mental health care services to Evanston families.
Every year we touch about 450 children in terms of providing some sort of supportive service, whether it's daycare full year, full day, or mental health services for 6 hours.
Evanston residents putting the fun in fundraising.
Between the ages of 0 and 5 is crucial to support the development of communities and children and
give support to the people who need it most.
And community volunteers going the extra mile for CNE.
The thing that's really cool about CNE is that there aren't networks like it in every town, and it does so many special things for the community.
Amid federal budget cuts, growing concerns that CNE may be impacted.
I'm really saddened by the way Trump is handling things in the world right now, and it's not going to be good for what happens to all these families who need the help of CNE.
Miles that have meaning.
It's a super feel-good community event, and it just energizes us, you know, in the work that we do. When we head back to the office on Monday, everybody will be smiling and happy about what we accomplished here today.
Promoting healthy childhood development to help local families thrive. In Evanston, Lenna Peterson, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Lenna. You can learn more about CNE at childcarenetworkofelvanston.org.
And after the break, WAMU's Arch Madness entertains alumni and students alike.
I'm Kelly McEvers, founding host of the NPR podcast Embedded.
I'm James Edwards, host of the Unresolved podcast from Frontline.
I'm Antonia Cereijido, former senior producer of Anything for Selena podcast and current executive producer at LAS Studios.
My narrative, since I've been locked up and kind of made my transition, has been like redemption, accountability.
When I come into the classroom environment, every individual that sits amongst me takes education seriously.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Northwestern's annual WAMU show just wrapped up. NNN's Philip Lamb has more on the long-standing Northwestern tradition.
You might think it's Sheridan Road, but it's actually Conn Auditorium. The annual WAMU show returned these past 2 weekends to give a satirical take on student life at Northwestern.
It's a passion project for the students. It transcends classwork.
The student-produced show saw 15-time attendee Bobby Brugger reminiscing over alums who made it big in Chicago, Broadway, and beyond.
I'd seen him, and I said to him, you know, I used to see you in the WAMU shows. He said, that was a long time ago.
WAMU has a long and storied history on campus, with the show entering its 94th year, 2 years older than Brugger.
I am 92 years old.
The show is a family tradition for Northwestern alum Terry Trotter, who flew from Arkansas to see the production.
You know, we've been coming up the last few years because my son has been here, so it's been a lot of fun because I went here, my sisters went here.
The two-act show portrays everything Northwestern students can relate to. Relationships with parents, career uncertainty, performances gone awry, and overcommitment.
Definitely at Northwestern, I feel like I'm being pulled in like 1,000 different directions sometimes.
And as someone who very much, I had more strength in humanities and arts than I did in STEM ever, it was really difficult to kind of find that happy medium for me and my parents.
For some alums, it's a chance to bask in the nostalgia of their alma mater.
The final closing song is always such an emotional thing, I think, to folks that have been around for a long time.
Philip Lamb, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Philip. Looked like a great show. And look, that's all the time that we have for tonight. Thank you so much for watching.
Stay tuned for PolitiCat coming up next. I'm Jeremy Fredericks.
And I'm Maria Heim. Have a great evening.